Whenever you're ready. Fantastic.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ILEA Vancouver Chapter AGM, where we're going to wrap up 2020, 2021 and kick off 2021, 2022. Before we start the meeting, it's really important for us to acknowledge that the ILEA Vancouver chapter is on the unceded traditional and ancestral territories of the Coast Salish people, including the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations. And it's really important for us this year, especially to look at ways that we can foster better relations with the Indigenous people in the communities where we live. And ILEA Vancouver is committed to, as part of our diversity, equity, and inclusion mandate, to continue to foster relations with all communities across the province. And welcome, Kareem. So we are kicking off our annual general meeting. My name is Eileen Bistrisky, CSCP. I am the immediate past president, passing the torch tonight over to our incoming president, Jillian. And first item is to call the meeting to order. So I hereby call the meeting to order. And between those people who are on the call, as well as proxies that have been sent to Jillian, we do have a quorum. So quorum has been met. And the first item of business is actually to approve the minutes of the 2020 AGM, which was circulated when we sent out the notice of meeting, which was in accordance with our bylaws sent out in advance of this meeting, so that everyone should have had the opportunity to read that. Can I please have a motion? First of all, are there any questions or comments on those minutes? Discussion? If not, I'm seeing a lot of heads shaking. Nope. Can I please have a motion to approve those minutes? Nora, seconded by Redeema. And Carol, if you could get the poll open, you'll notice there's a poll, so you have the option to click whether you are in favor, opposed, or abstain. And I do know that everybody currently on this call is a member of our chapter, so everybody on this call is entitled to vote. So go ahead, and once Carol has seen that enough of us have voted or abstained, we will be able to end the poll. I'm still seeing a few people needing to, if you have not either in favor, opposed, or abstained, please do so. And I think it's time to close the poll. Yes, Carol? I'm looking for your guidance on that. All right, so stop sharing. And we are in favor, 83% in favor, 1 abstention. So the meeting minutes are approved. Okay, so as far as the rest of the agenda this evening, I'm going to kick off with a bit of a year in review. Then Jillian will give us the financial report from the year. We have our auditors on the call with us, Sharon and Bouquet, who will kind of give the affirmation that they audited that, and we will be asking for an approval of our financial report. Then we will be introducing the new board of directors and have an oath of office and swearing in. And then I'll be turning it over to Jillian to talk about the year ahead and new business. So with that, I'm going to get underway with the year in review. So 2020, 2021. Pandemic, lots of stuff happened. We got off to a rather interesting start for those of you who were at the AGM this time last year. I had actually just finished being on the nominating committee to put together a new board, and with the pandemic, some of those board members were not able to continue, which was very understandable. This pandemic has been very difficult for many of us in this industry, both those who are in job transitions and those who are having challenges with their businesses. So we got off to a bit of a tumultuous start. I was asked, due to some people stepping down, to step in as chapter president, and I took over as chapter president in September of last year. So I wasn't even president yet at this time. What I'm really thrilled about, though, was how much the people who stayed on the board really stepped up, and how I feel really proud of what we did as a team. So I'm going to go through the different portfolios and just summarize what they did. So starting off with programs, we managed to put on some amazing events. The first event that I did as chapter president was a Halloween social, which was super, super fun. And then what was really exciting was the collaborations that we did. So here's some images from that Halloween social, and everybody really got into the spirit. And I'm looking at this picture going, right, JC York and Jen Poyer both joined us. We started because of COVID, being able to engage with people from other chapters, not only Canadian chapters, but American chapters and around the world that were joining us in our meetings. So that was kind of the upside, is diversifying people who are attending our meetings. We did 3 really strong collaborations with our industry partners. So with MPI British Columbia chapter, with PCMA Canada West chapter, and the Fraser Valley Event Planning Association. We did our annual holiday party virtually this year, and that was actually a huge success. We had over 150 people attend virtually, and we also got, so I'm very proud that ILEA, when we did the breakdown by association, we definitely had the highest attendance at that Christmas party. And we did have, like, Dana McCauley, who's was the international president for ILEA, she came, and a number of other people from ILEA International came, and that was really fun and a really great way to highlight our capacity for collaboration and broadening things beyond just the Vancouver chapter. The other side of our collaborations, though, also had more to do with dealing with the pandemic. So we supported the safe restart guidelines that were done by the working group to foster a platform that we could use to leverage and advocate for restarting our industry and communicate directly with the government. And ILEA is not in the business of lobbying and advocating, but we are very much in a position to support others who are. So we collaborated with PCMA and FIPA and MPI to do some education around those safe restart guidelines, and to really promote and advocate for the good of restarting our industry. We also, as part of GMID, historically we have collaborated with other chapters for GMID. And this year we did a virtual meeting, which was spearheaded primarily by MPI. And again, it's just a really nice opportunity to look at where we're going from here in meeting safe throughout the pandemic. So those are 3 very successful events. The other area which we're really excited about was the collaborations with the other chapters, with ILEA Vancouver, ILEA Toronto, ILEA Edmonton, and ILEA Calgary. We did one collaboration with Calgary on how to communicate during a crisis, which was very well attended. And then we had this amazing event in May where we did 3 panels, one on chapter founders, where we talked about how our Canadian chapters each got founded, one on international leadership, and one on CSCP. So very proud of the programming, the education, the collaboration that we did throughout the year, which then accumulated in our annual awards event, which showcased some of the best in a year with a global pandemic. And I'm just also proud of our members, who many adapted to do things virtually. Many continue to do things having to reinvent themselves and having to continue to find ways to connect people and to engage people with the limitations that we had during the pandemic. So fantastic year. Kudos to Redima, our VP programs, and everyone who worked on the programs team to get these meetings happening the way they did. Next up, we have our sponsorship team, and Kelly Clark was the VP sponsorship. And essentially what was a real challenge is, without the in-person events that we normally do, a lot of our sponsors actually, weren't able to engage the way they normally do. So the position our chapter took was, what's really important is long-term relationships, of us being there for our sponsors because they've been there for us. And while some of these sponsors didn't have any opportunities to actively engage in the events last year because they didn't happen, we think it's really important to continue to recognize them, to continue to thank them, to continue to foster our relationship with them, such that when we do go back, the relationships will stand the test of time. So thank you to the various sponsors that we have worked with. Most of these sponsors, are on 3-year relationships with us. So we really sincerely hope that by the time the 3rd year rolls around, we'll be back to doing in-person events. We also have some national sponsors. And these are national partners that have been actually quite active during the pandemic. So of course, ePly does all the event registrations. My understanding is for all the chapters across the country. Vancouver for sure is very thankful for the use of ePly to organize our events, and promotion through Canadian Special Events Magazine and Ignite. We continued to get a lot of promotion, even though we weren't doing as many in-person events. We were absolutely doing a lot of virtual events and got a lot of promotion. Next up is membership. And one thing that was super exciting is for the second year in a row, big hats off to Nora and the rest of the membership team, ILEA Vancouver won Excellence in Membership Retention at the Spirit of Excellence Awards. So this speaks to, I think, not only the strength of the membership team, but also the strength of what we offer our members, because they certainly wouldn't continue to, renew their membership if we didn't provide value to them. So it's really a reflection of everybody on the chapter who is trying to make sure that we're always providing value to our members. And another way in which we do that is through communications. So thank you to Claire and the communications team for winning the Excellence in Communications Award at the Spirit of Excellence Awards. I think we've done a great job with regular newsletters and social media, and really, really appreciate all the work that Claire put into that. She was really disappointed she couldn't join us here tonight. But for those of you who were at the awards, when we had those, Claire was actually given the President's Award for the role that she played in really spearheading communication single-handedly for the chapter. Which brings me to the final kudos for the chapter, and that, I started this meeting off with telling, you of how challenging the year was at the beginning, and it really was. And I think what's amazing is to have gone through from having lost many board members and having been in a really challenging situation, to come back to win honorable mention. So essentially we didn't win chapter of the year, but this honorable mention means we're the second best chapter in the world for the year of 2020-21. And so, not that we were in last place at the beginning, but we were in a pretty challenging place, and to go from challenging to second place, I'm pretty proud of that. And it wouldn't have been possible without our amazing board. So big thank you to the 2020-21 Board of Directors, and a special recognition to, Gemma Scott, who, is now no longer on the board, but as past president, she was really vital along with Jillian to, transitioning onto the new board. Again, I thanked Claire already, and thanks to Chris Lynn, who's also served their last term on the board. And the rest of us are moving forward and looking to another good new year. So this brings us to the ILEA Vancouver financial report, and Jillian, who in her capacity as president-elect and secretary-treasurer last year, was working with Carol Ford on the finances. So over to you, Jillian.
Thank you, Eileen. So I do want to extend our thanks to Carol Ford, who is on this call. So she has taken on the task of all the bookkeeping for the ILEA Canada chapter finances, which is great because she knows what we're all doing and keeps us on the straight and narrow. And she's also the wizard behind the polls tonight. So thank you, Carol, for all that you do for us. And looking at our year, so our 2020 to 2021 year consisted of all virtual events. Due to COVID-19, we're unable to hold in-person meetings from October to June, which in turn contributed to lower revenue than previous years. However, we did make the best of it, and we had speakers from various industries, and as you can see, had a great time with the slides that Eileen shared. We also had the opportunity to collaborate with other ILEA Canada chapters and local associations such as MPI, PCMA, and new to us this year, FVEPA, which is the Fraser Valley Event Planners Association. As I flip to the next slide in a minute, you may notice that our expenses were high this year. And I do want to mention that there is a category of miscellaneous expenses that are a line item at $3,200 that were expenses that were carried over from the 2020 awards, as we didn't receive the invoices until past our year end. We have corrected this issue for this year, and all awards expenses for our awards that happened in June will sit in the proper year end of 2021, so they won't span over into next year. We did spend $5,500 on our virtual awards this year. We thought that was important to give back to our members, and we look at it as an investment into our community, into our members, and as well as our sponsors. There is one other line item expense I do want to comment on that occurred in the beginning of the 20 to 21 year. This cost was committed on the chapter's behalf for our chapter retreat by someone who is no longer with the board and prior to Eileen taking office. I attended the retreat and I can confirm that it did occur. However, moving forward, I do commit to ensuring that our board expenses are kept low. So for the next slide. As you can see, this year our revenue was $5,497.64. Our total expenses, which as I mentioned, include the awards from last year and this year, are $14,307.13, which does give us a negative net profit this year of $8,809.49. However, when we do take a look at our bank account, we have a very healthy balance to end the year with the bank account. Now, moving forward, we do hope that we can go back to some in-person events and help keep our revenue a little bit on the higher side. Now, according to the ILEA Vancouver bylaws, the members at each annual meeting appoint an audit committee or auditor to audit the accounts of the chapter for report to the members at the next annual meeting. An audit committee consisting of 2 members in good standing who are not current or elected members of the board of directors may be appointed to review the financial records of the chapter. Upon review, the committee shall report back to the board of directors on the state of affairs of the chapter. At the 2020 AGM, ILEA Vancouver appointed Eileen Bistrisky and Sharon Bonner to serve as auditors for the chapter. When Eileen was asked to step up as president of the chapter, she had to give up her role as the auditor, and Bouquet Donnelly graciously stepped up to assist Sharon with the audit. So I would like to hand it over to Bouquet, who will make her statements about the ILEA Vancouver financials for the 2020 to 2021 year.
Thank you, Jillian. Hi, everybody. My name is Bouquet Donnelly. Sharon and I, we reviewed the year-end financial statements for ILEA Vancouver chapter up to and including June 30, 2021. Our review consisted primarily of inquiry, analytical procedures, and discussions related to the information supplied by ILEA Vancouver chapter. Based on our review, we agree that the year-end financials of the ILEA Vancouver chapter verify that the chapter is in a healthy financial position. The chapter is honoring its commitments. All revenues and expenses for 2020-2021 fiscal year have been accurately recorded. The chapter leadership is using the chapter funds in a responsible manner. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that these financial statements are not in accordance with generally accepted accounting practices. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bouquet, and thank you, Sharon, as well. Does anyone have any questions about the year-end financial report? Okay, if no one has any questions, I now ask for a member to motion and another member to second the acceptance of the June 30th, 2021 ILEA Vancouver chapter year-end financial report as presented. Anybody motion?
I will motion. Or
Okay.
maybe I can't.
Well, I saw Radima and Kareen's hands go up first, and then Sharon. So you got lots of people.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too, maybe we can't.
Yeah, just thought of that.
Yeah, Radima
Okay,
and
so
Kareen.
Radima has motioned, Kareen has seconded. All in favor to pass the motion? The poll has been launched. Okay, any opposed? All right, all in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, moving forward, one last thing. We have to appoint our auditors for the next year. So we are looking for any volunteers who would like to audit for the 2021 to 2022 financial reports. So I have asked Sharon in advance. And so if Sharon is still interested, she is volunteering.
Yes.
Perfect. Is there anybody else on this call who would like to volunteer?
I can help if Sharon is in.
Yay.
Yeah.
Perfect. We've got the
Yay.
Sharon and Bouquet team together again. So motion to approve Sharon
Thank you.
Bonner and Bouquet Donnelly as our auditors for 2021. Motion. Karine motion, Elise to second. Any opposed? Great. Motion carried. Thank you all. Now we've got the fun stuff. 2021 to 2022 Board of Directors team. So we have a few new members of the board that we will be swearing in tonight. So I am very grateful to have learned a lot from Eileen over the past year as to step into the role as president for this year. I am grateful that I have lots of returning members as well, Redima, Mike, Kelly, and Nora, who are able to help on this journey. Oh, and Kelly, the other Kelly as well. So our new members that we are welcoming onto the board tonight is Anel Valdivinos, who will be our new Director of Communications. We also have Elise Scholler, who will be the Director of Programs and working with Redima, and Julia Hopkins will be our Director of Sponsorship and working with Kelly Clark. So we are excited for the year ahead, and we will start with the oath of office and swearing in of our new members. So for those whose names I just mentioned, Anel, Elise, and that's it because Julia's not here. If you could go ahead and just read the oath of office, please.
And do we not all have to because we're all taking on new positions?
Okay, let's all read the oath of office together.
And
right.
So raise your, is it right hand?
Right hand.
It's been a while since I've done this. All right, let's read it together.
All right, here we go. I pledge to abide by the bylaws
and principles of professional conduct and ethics upon which ILEA and the ILEA Vancouver chapter were founded, and to uphold the integrity of the office to which I have been elected. I hereby make firm commitment to promote the highest level of ethics within the special events industry and to serve the members of ILEA Vancouver chapter to the best of my ability.
Yay! Yay! Sorry, I just did it on mute. I thought it would be too many voices.
All good. Yay.
All good.
I'm excited about working with everybody.
Thank you, everyone. It is going to be a great year ahead. So I do want to take a few moments to talk about what we have planned for this year ahead. We've attended a couple ILEA Canada retreats, as well as some ILEA Canada International. And we do have our ILEA International president on our chapter, which is fantastic. So Karine is here. And when Karine's been speaking at these, she's been talking about 3 important words to think about this year as we head into the year ahead: belonging, strategy, and partnerships. So these are 3 of the pillars that we are going to be always thinking about as we work to develop our programs and educations for our members this year. And then within our chapter, the things that are important to us are the connection that we have. So the connection with our sponsors, with our members, and with our community at large. So this is this authentic connection that we want to have. And with that, we want to look into and celebrate the diversity, the equity, and ensure that there is inclusion in everything that we do. So as we move forward, these are the lenses that we are going to be working with and planning the year out. So with this, as we focus on the authentic and connection and diversity, equity, and inclusion membership team, Mike is going to spend his time reaching out to current members. He also wants to focus on recruiting new members for our industry. He wants to ensure, him and the team wants to ensure that they add value to the members and see how we can create a sense of belonging within our community. For our sponsorship team this year, they're going to be focusing on engagement, renewal, and program alignment. As our world is constantly changing, they want to help create seamless alignment with programs as virtual programs are moving into hybrid and hopefully back to in-person, full in-person events. With our programs, we have a lot of great things coming up this year. So we will continue our collaborations with the ILEA Canada chapters, and we will also continue working with MCI, PCMA, and FEPA. We have a great social planned in October, Halloween social coming up, as well as we've got initiative that I don't want to spill the beans on yet, but coming up as well. So look forward to some great programming this year. And then I'm going to pass it over to Eileen quickly to talk about upcoming communication plans.
Thanks, Jillian. Well, I realize I have a bit of a hard act to follow, given that Claire's leadership in communications won us excellence in communications, and she pretty much did that single-handedly. As immediate past president, communications isn't supposed to be my role, but I have stepped up to try to help build a comms team such that we're working on succession planning for the following year. So Anel, who is on our call and just got sworn into the board this evening, has graciously joined that comms team. So I'm very excited to be working with you, Anel. Anel is going to be doing updates on our website. But we would really love to have some more team members. And you can either join as a board member or just as a committee member. So I am talking to people about, perhaps getting some assistance with social media, perhaps getting some assistance with the newsletter. And so if anyone on the call who's not on our board, or anyone who's watching this, because we are going to be sharing the recording of this, we could use some help on the comms team, either in a board level or in a volunteer capacity, to help with things like newsletters and with social media, so that we can win excellence in communications again. And also, I think too, we're looking towards succession planning, like getting the experience on the board at a volunteer level will then enable people, and we're going to want a VP comms next year. So this is a great opportunity to get that experience and build towards, becoming VP comms, and who knows, maybe president-elect and president one day. Speaking of which, Redeema, are you going to be speaking more to programs, or? Because I wanted to do a bit of a plug for getting some more people on the programs committee too.
Yeah, I mean, Jillian kind of shared a lot of the details that I wanted to share. I mean, we're working together with, we want to continue to connect and keep that connection with our ILEA Canada chapters. I think we did a great job last year. We want to make sure we're continuing that. So not to spill too many beans, but we are planning a collaboration event in September. And then another one in November. October, Vancouver is going to take the lead with our October social, but just continuing with everything. So that's pretty much what it is. But yes, 100%, I would love to have some more support and fun. Elise and I are a great team right now, and I know we're going to be fantastic together, but if we could get a committee member back with us, that'd be great. Sharon, I just read a comment that you would like to volunteer, but I don't know. Just read it, sorry, thank you. But yeah, other than that, we're just kind of, yeah, it's going to be a fun year. And I think as we're getting closer to safely having in-person meetings, that's what we're going to work towards.
Great. And I just noticed that Bouquet also is interested in helping Redeema. And Bouquet, I think you would be like a rock star at helping in programs. So yeah, this is great. The more we can get more people, the more then it just makes the workload easier and we can stay ahead of the game. All right, Jillian, new business.
So the AGM is the time where we discuss new business, but no business has been brought forward to my attention. So it appears that we don't have any new business to discuss or vote upon, unless anybody has anything to add. Okay, it appears no. So I will make a motion for it to be the time to adjourn the meeting. So would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting this evening?
I'll be the motion. Bouquet.
Bouquet, and anybody second that?
Elise put her hand up first.
Perfect. All in favor? which I know Carol says that nobody ever usually opposes this one.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm going to suggest that we formally wrap the business and we stop the recording. But just because I haven't seen some of you in a while, if anyone wants to just hang out and chit chat, you know, we can make this a little bit of a networking post meeting networking thing. But yes, that officially adjourns the formal portion of the meeting. And thank you, Carol, so much for assisting with the polls and making sure that we're doing everything officially.